I ranked the top 7 EAs suitable for funded accounts and prop firms. I will also test the speed of withdrawals with one funded program, and I will share a few tips and tricks on using these EAs on props, because even though they say they allow EAs, it is often an excuse they use not to pay out. But I will share with you a few tricks that you can use to work around that. And now let's reveal the 7 EAs. The 7th spot goes for Infinity Trader. And with this iFunds account, we've made already a withdrawal, nearly $500, gained 3.2%, 0.4% a month. That is fine. Stay with me to learn why that is fine. You can see that I've been trading it for 210 days, 220 trades, so nearly 1 trade per day. And look at that, the max floating loss is just 2.88. When it comes to trading prop firms or funded programs like iFunds, you need to trade EAs with very low drawdown, because there is usually a very tiny stop loss of 3, 4, 5% with the props. And with iFunds, they have the model where you can adjust the drawdown. I usually keep it at 10, but the lower it is, the higher profit split you get. So if you stick to 6, you will get 80% profit split. If you increase it to 10% drawdown, that's where I usually keep it, you get 50%. And for $400, for example, you can grab a 5K instantly funded account. No challenges to pass. That is why we have multiple EAs trading on iFunds, but the logic is absolutely the same if you're trading on prop or on iFunds. So the Infinity Trader keeps a drawdown of 2.88%. You can see where the withdrawal is, and then it holds trades a little bit longer in a floating loss, which is okay with all prop firms as well. This is the iFunds funded account. So you can see that I'm trading only the pound dollar in here, and if I scroll a little bit, you will see that it uses some kind of a grid recovery, but it's not an aggressive martingale. So there is a long trade at open and closed. If I zoom out the chart, you will see that we have this basket of trades that closed. These were short trades. I will just move the chart a little bit more, and you will see that it started selling one time with 0.02, the next one also with 0.02, the next one is 0.02, and the last one in here is with 0.04. So it is the initial trade, 3 recovery orders with the same fixed lot. You can see it right in here. So the basket of these short trades, with the last one it was 0.04, and that one pretty much recovered the loss in the account, and you can control all of that from the inputs. But by default, it has these 3 recovery trades, 4th one with a little bit, and I think there is a 5th one extra recovery, which was recently updated in the Infinity Trader. And this system is simply suitable for funded accounts and props, because as you can see, the drawdown is below 3% in the account. Now, if you're using the Infinity for prop trading, make sure to modify the inputs a little bit so you will get different entries. You can also ask the vendor for custom set files, so you will get unique trades and you won't get banned because you're using a market EA. On the 6th spot, we have the Dark Venus. This is a free dark EA, and you can find the free EAs down on the bottom of the website, right in here. We've been reviewing most of them in the Algo Trading Space channel. If you missed to subscribe, I will leave it in the description. And the Dark Venus is the most popular one they have on the MQL5 website as well. But in this iFunds account, we are trading the Dark Algo, the Dark Nova, and the Dark Venus. Now, the Dark Nova has actually a much higher spot in today's ranking, so stay with me. This account is currently in a floating loss. You can always keep an eye on the open trades, and this is because of the Dark Algo. Dark Venus has just 2 few open trades, but Dark Algo is using this lot sum as a recovery, so it keeps buying euro dollar now, but you can see that it is adding just 0.01 to every new recovery order, and that is why on the 5th spot we have the Dark Algo, because we've been trading it not just on funded accounts but on live trading, and this recovery of lots sum, what the vendor called it, is really not aggressive. It's something between grid martingale and a fixed grid, and you can see that even it added 8 trades to the initial order, still the floating loss is below 5% in the account. On the 4th spot we have the United Euro. This expert advisor costs $200 from the Robot Forex Pro, and we've been trading most of their expert advisors. Unfortunately, their track record is on demo account and they don't provide a live update on their track record, but you can read more information about the expert advisors. On the funded account with iFunds, you can see that it makes 0.6% a month. If I show you the track record, you will see a very tiny drawdown. Basically, the equity stays really close to the balance chart most of the time. Max floating loss is just below 1%. And before I show you the top 3 EAs, I want to ask you to double check if you have subscribed to the channel, because it turns out that most of you have missed, or even some of you unsubscribed by mistake. Please double check, it's one time free action and it means the world to us. Number 3 is FX JetBot. This expert advisor comes from the Forex store and the vendor offers a couple of track records and back tests. I'll leave them on you to check out. I honestly depend mostly on our own track records, and you can see that what's interesting here is that we sometimes are in a floating profit, then here was a floating loss, it closed, and then floating profit again and floating profit again, and recently it went in a floating loss and now it's going in a floating profit again, which is really interesting. If I switch to the terminal, you will see that in this account we're trading the Euro Pound and the Dollar CAD with very similar performance, and the win rate is really high, 63%, 7 winners and 4 losers, and with the Euro Pound we have just 3 trades, 2 winners and 1 loser. On the 2nd spot we have the Dark Titan. This is a paid expert advisor from the Dark EAs. It's very affordable one because the price for 5 licenses is $99, and also the vendor suggests that it could be traded on Aussie CAD, Aussie New Zealand and New Zealand CAD. We've been trading on New Zealand CAD and Aussie CAD the most, and we have it in the 2nd portfolio right in here together with the Dark Algo, Dark Titan and Dark Nova. And look at that, right now the balance sits at 16,383. And what actually I wanted to do while recording this video is to withdraw this profit, and I will see for how long iFunds will pay out, because it says an average payout processing time of 58 minutes. So obviously I'm not going to record 1 hour video, but I will request the payout now, and then in the comments I will pin a comment with how long it took before the payout arrives into my wallet. So I have selected the account. I will just select the currency. I will pick USDC. I'll use the maximum 1383. The network I'll be using is ERC20, and I will drop my wallet address in here, and I will just say thank you to the iFunds team, and I will send my one-time password. Okay, I immediately received it on my email. I'll copy paste it right in here and I will submit the withdrawal. Okay, it is exactly 15:33 Bulgarian time now, and once I receive it into my wallet, I'll see if they really pay out within 1 hour. And on the first spot, we have the Dark Nova. This expert advisor is from the same vendor, probably Marco, who is the vendor, created them with the option to trade these expert advisor on live accounts and on props and funded accounts. I'm pretty sure it was intended because really the drawdowns are tiny with our accounts, and this is the vendor track record, which has a green live check, which means it is a real track record and it's not manipulated. On our funded account, and it's a replacement. Whenever you see replacement on the algo trading space platform, it means that something was losing in there and we put something else to recover it. And the Dark Nova actually made a great recovery here. We requested $1,000 as a withdrawal just recently. Okay, actually we had 2 withdrawals, one about $650 and then a second one in here about 300 and something, and now it is still going on a profit. Look at that, monthly average of 1.9 and max floating loss of 5.2%. If you stayed until this moment of the video, that's the type of EAs you want to trade on funded or props. And one more time, on props, make sure to change the inputs, and the dark EAs, they have a lot of inputs, so it's easy to change a couple of parameters in the input to make the equity different so the props will not detect you. But basically the first 2 accounts, Dark Nova and the portfolio of Dark Nova, Dark Titan and Dark Algo, are really the top performers. Look at that, they make great returns. And actually the second account, the portfolio, made a drawdown of 12%, which wouldn't survive on any prop firm, but it survived on iFunds because the 10% is a static drawdown. So initially it is set at 13,500, but as the account grows, the drawdown is static. It's not trailing as with the prop firms. And that is why in most of my recent one-on-one calls and videos, I say stay away from props. I know they're very promising. It's such a dream that you will buy a challenge for $1,000 and they will give you $200,000 to trade. Just when you think of it logically, do you think that's possible? That if you're a beginner and you pass a challenge by luck, you open a couple of trades luckily and you pass, that somebody will give you real $200,000 of capital. Do you guys believe that this is real? Think twice. And look at platforms like iFunds. There is real trading going on in there, like with live trading, and I'm more and more leaning towards live trading and iFunds and DarwinX, but it's slightly different model. But everything else is just, I'm not saying don't trade it, but think twice before you purchase your next challenge. Before you go, guys, check out this video on my site to learn more about the dark EAs, because they are great indeed. Great guy who developed them, and we are happy trading them. As always, don't forget, I love you guys. Trade safe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.